Well, hello, everybody. We're the Lingenhoels with Keller Williams Chervenic. I'm Arden.
And I'm Lisa.
And we're joined today by Mr. Corey Street.
Thanks for having me.
Hey,
Yes.
Thanks for being here.
No problem.
Came all the way from
All the way from work, Tusky Valley Elementary School.
where you're a
Yay.
principal, correct?
Elementary principal, yep.
Awesome. Okay, hey, we're going to get in the meat and potatoes of this thing because Corey is running. He's one of our two. Is there two or three?
I believe there's three now.
Three. Okay,
Yep.
There's three folks running for our mayor position this year, and he is one of them. And we were gracious to have you come on the show.
Thank you.
And we have a bunch of questions, Lisa, don't we?
We do.
I think
Yeah.
I think you're set up and ready to go.
I am so ready. Are you ready down there?
I'm ready.
You're just
So we're
kinda
going to throw
"Oh
some
my
questions
gosh."
at Corey,
Yeah.
and that way you can kind of hear what your platform is.
Yeah.
Sounds
yeah.
great.
So
So I think let's just start by you introducing yourself because, we know who you are, but maybe there are some people out there that don't know who you are. So could you just tell us a little bit about who you are personally and professionally? You did mention something about your job and your professional, what you do for a living, but tell us a little bit about you, your family, where you come from, and then a little bit about what you do for a living.
Great. Well, as you said, my name's Corey Street. I'm a two-term council member. I am a candidate for the mayor council member position in the upcoming election, and I am a born and raised leopard.
Yes.
Some of my earlier memories in life is getting dressed up and getting the leopard tails pinned on and having the little Beatties jackets and going to games, basketball and football games down at the stadium. And so,
Sure.
Grew up on California Avenue, right behind St. Tom, and grew up, played basketball, baseball, football at Louisville, served as senior class president, did varsity singers, went away to Slippery Rock and got an elementary education degree, minored in history, and came back and taught for 7 years at Louisville. And the first two, kind of like my grandpa Jack, I did 2 years of high school government. And then when we were kind of in a round of restructuring at Louisville and consolidation, they told me the good news is I still had a job. The other news was I was going to teach kindergarten at North Nim.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and so
Okay.
first year was rough, and then it grew on me. I loved being at the elementary school.
Yeah.
I loved being, one of the few male teachers there. And so I did that 5 years, and for the last 7, I have been an elementary school principal at the Tusky Valley local school district, and currently serve. We have a pre-K through 6th grade building, 700 kids, 85 staff. Love what I do. My wife, Monica, she taught middle school math. 13 years. It's her first year staying at home. We have a 11-month-old, 3-year-old, and 5-year-old. All girls. They keep us super busy. And so for a year or two, mom's going to stay home until they're school age, and a little bit easier burden on the grandparents.
Great.
So it sounds like you have your hands full.
Yeah, hands full. We love what we do. I mean, we're involved at church, involved in the community, involved in school. We enjoy staying busy.
So what makes this community so special to you?
Yeah. When you go away to college, you don't really know what you don't know, and so I don't think it's really till you've moved away and then you realize kind of what you're missing. And I don't know if there's a exact word to put on it, but what's home is home. And, you have a choice. There's lots of great places to live. I student taught in Raleigh, North Carolina, and Wake County.
Okay.
Who doesn't like going, to Florida or those fun kind of places? But you can make a choice. You can, move away, or you can go to Columbus, where there's opportunities and where you can advance professionally. Or you can choose to come back and make a difference. And so luckily, both Monica and I, we chose to come back. This is where we want to be. Regardless of how it goes in November, we're not going anywhere. And we believe in Louisville, and we want to do everything we can to make it stronger and a great place for our girls as they grow up.
Sounds great. Hey, your family has a strong history of public service, especially in education. You know, you talked about your grandfather, and can you tell us a little bit more about the influence that they had and what it means to you to come from that lineage?
Absolutely. So I come from a family of educators. I believe there's 11 on my mom and dad's side.
Wow.
Combined. And so, yeah, my grandpa Jack, that's how our family came to Louisville, got a job here, came from Minerva in the 60s. And my grandma Rosemary taught at the elementary school. And so my mom got a job in Louisville, met my dad, and we've always been leopards. We've always been proud supporters of the schools and really always focused on giving back in one way or another to our community. How can we serve our community and what can we do to make it better? And that's how I was brought up and how I'm going to strive to raise my girls.
Great.
So you're finishing up your second term as city council?
That's correct.
How has that been going?
Yeah, I have really enjoyed my time serving on council, being able to be part of solutions, because that's whether it's on council or at school every day. I mean, you're working to find solutions and make things better. And so over the last couple of years, I mean, I have a master's degree in educational leadership, and I've just seen, how things run on council, and I think there's some room to grow. And I think there's ways that we can improve. We can be better organized. We can be more transparent. Not in the sense that anything's being hidden, but just in the sense that we can promote ourselves better. We can get that message out there. Meetings can be live streamed. We can help bring Louisville city government into the 21st century. And I'd like to be a part of that solution moving forward.
Well, Corey, you probably have a couple tough decisions when you're sitting on city council to make. How do you kind of work through that, and what's your decision-making process when something like that comes up to you?
Sure. And there's a lot of different things that go into, you have your experience, you have, others that you talk to, you listen to concerns of residents. But I think what sets me apart from other candidates is I'm thinking, regardless of anything that we do, what is going to make Louisville a more competitive place and an attractive place that, hopefully in 25 years, 30 years when my girls are grown up and successful, that like we are now, I want Louisville to be within a puncher's chance of North Canton, of Jackson, of Hartville and Uniontown in terms of a great community to raise families, where we have strong neighborhoods, good safety services, great schools. And I think the way you do that is by refusing to stay still. Some people are like, I want everything to stay exactly the way it is right now. And even if you want that to happen, it's impossible because you're moving in two directions. You're either getting better or getting worse. And I think the city, we need to be aggressive in terms of economic development and always adding to our tax base so we're not overly reliant on the people that are here. And so that is my mindset, and that's how I frame, my decisions. Is this going to be a good decision? Not now, not necessarily for the people, yelling in the room like they want things one way or another, but where is this going to leave us in 15, 25, 35 years? And will Louisville continue to be a great place to raise families? And so that's how I think about things.
Well, sounds great. Hey, let's take a little break, relax, and we'll get back to the questions.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks.
Are you looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle with a great price? Then check out Ted's Auto Sales. Ted's has a great selection of vehicles and will find you the right one that fits your needs. Ted's was founded on trust, integrity, and respect, and has been serving in the Louisville, Ohio and Nimishillen Township area for over 65 years. So call Ted's today at 330-875-9401. Ted's Auto Sales, Louisville's premium pre-owned dealer.
Hello. Did you know that when you invest in your smile, you're investing back into your Stark County community? Welcome to Thomas Dental. My name's Tanya. I'm Dr. Mike's practice manager. Every day, we're investing back into our community. Here are just a few of our community efforts. Here at Thomas Dental, our mission is bringing smiles back to our community, one smile at a time.
Hello everyone, I'm Tegan Evans. As many of you know, when the Louisville Herald moved on into retirement, the city of Louisville, Nimishillen Township, and all of its community members were left with a void. The community lost its ability to hear about local events, news, information, sports, and community projects. We lost the ability to come together for Louisville's betterment. Well, we have a solution for you, Spotlight Media Network. Spotlight Media Network is a place anyone can go, whether it be social media, YouTube, or our website, that will display information in different formats to show the best Louisville has to offer. One last thing, if you have something newsworthy or something you would like the community of Louisville to hear about, send us an email at spotlightlouisville1@gmail.com. So if you want to see what is happening in Louisville or the best Louisville has to offer, check out Spotlight Media Network, where we know Louisville is number one.
Well, hey, folks, we're back, and we have Corey Street with us. Of course, Lisa, too.
Yeah,
But
thanks.
we were off air. We were just talking a little bit about football. And,
Of course you
your
were.
dad's told us stories about moving from Minerva to Louisville, and they hated him when
I
he
was going to
moved.
say just how kind everybody from Minerva was when he left, how understanding.
They gave him a little bit of grief for doing that, didn't they?
Yeah, but the Leopards came on top,
Yeah,
all
of
those
course.
years, so
He
it's all
knew,
good.
He knew who the better team was.
Yeah, knows how to pick a horse.
Yeah. It's almost like college right now. You can move to a better team.
Yeah, the portal. The portal was
there
open
you-
in the 60s. Nobody talked about it. All you had to do is get 2 teaching jobs.
There you go. There you go. Well, hey, we're back. We got to get serious here.
Let's get back on topic,
We
you
got to get
guys.
serious. What in your life has prepared you for running for mayor? How has the personal and professional things that you're doing now prepared you for the mayoral position?
Yeah. I'll start with the education aspect. So, all the way back to high school, I served as senior class president. I served, in college government, and moving through as you get actual responsibility and leadership. And what it comes down to is no matter what you're doing is relationships with other people, building trust, doing what you say and saying what you do, and how you lead others. And so at first, I was had the opportunity to coach. And so I coached football, coached golf, coached basketball at Louisville, and was able to form those great relationships. And then furthered my education, got my master's degree in educational leadership, and for the last 7 years have served at the Tusky Valley School District. And originally it was as an assistant principal role, and then we had multiple elementaries, and so I took the primary school. And for the last several years, I've been at, I believe we're the largest elementary in Tuscarawas County. We have over 700 kids. And so on a daily basis, you're managing a lot. You're managing, staffing, and making sure people are on the right seat on the bus. We say, and making sure they're in the right spot. You're talking about working with families and making sure you're communicating, setting that vision out there so that they know what to expect, and giving them consistency so that they can build trust in the school and what we're doing, and that we care about their kids. And most importantly, being there for kids. We say all the time we expect kids to be safe, respectful, and responsible. And so we do that ourselves by modeling that. That's a best practice. And so doing that, serving at church, on finance, on SPR, which is like the HR, the staffing at church, and on council, I've seen really good examples. And over the last several years, and sometimes on council, I've seen bad examples. And so I would just love to take that experience I have, all those different areas, and be able to elevate what people can expect from the mayor, the leadership in the city. And I think that's one reason over the last 16 years, people that have served, including the majority of council members now, have come out and endorsed me. And we've had 8 total of a bipartisan group of council members that have seen things from the inside and recognized that it's time for a change.
Right, right.
So Corey, let's talk about taxes. A lot of people want to know, what are your thoughts about taxes? Raise them, lower them? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, on council, I believe we've been good stewards of taxpayer money. And a common misconception, people think of the school and the township and in the city, we are all, in the library, we are all separate entities. So I'm only strictly talking about the city here.
Okay.
We have been good stewards of taxpayer money. And most of the last several years, we have actually taken in more tax revenue than we've spent, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a best practice.
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably remember when the steel mill closed about 20 years or so ago, and we used to have a 100% earned income tax credit. And so what that meant is if you worked in Louisville and paid 2%, and you paid 2%, or you lived in Louisville and you paid 2% North Canton, you got to write that off against it. When that steel mill closed, our tax revenue went way down, and we took that down to nothing. So if you paid 2% in one city and 2% in Louisville, you were then paying 4% in taxes. And so I believe 18 years ago, they raised that to 50, and then they got it to 60%. Really, it hasn't been touched by anybody that's currently on council. I've spoken with our finance director, city manager, to raise that earned income tax credit 5% would cost about a tenth of what our surplus was last year. And so I don't see any reason why we can't move in that direction, which will lower the tax burden. And I just think that people can spend their money better than we can.
Well, it helps us out.
Yeah.
Gets people moving into our city.
Yeah. And anytime you can lower the tax burden and do it responsibly, and people might say, well, what are you going to cut? Well, if you have a surplus the way we've had, you're not going to cut anything because incomes continue to go up. We've had really strong revenues the last several years. And so I'm not looking to cut services. Safety services will continue to be strong, but I do believe we can raise that earned income tax credit to lower the burden. When you hear people all the time, they're like, I'm getting double taxed. Like I work somewhere else and then I work and I have to pay it there and I pay it here. The only way to eliminate that and get that back to 100%, like I mentioned earlier, is to continue to expand the tax base and be proactive on economic development. And so that's why, Stark Trumbull Realtors Association, the IBEW, Local 540, they've all come out, they've endorsed and said that, I'm the best candidate for economic development and moving the city forward.
What's your long-term goal in this whole thing? Do you have I know you're focused on Louisville, but I got to ask, because when you get into politics, is there something beyond this?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. And so many times I think in politics, people are running, it's a popularity contest. Here's my name on a sign, vote for me. And so when I was talking with Monica, I was like, you know what, I really want to put a couple ideas on that so that it's not going to run a negative campaign, and we're going to run it based on ideas. And we have the money, we have the revenue to be able to cut taxes. The second part of that is going to be term limits. And I believe that at a minimum, the mayor council member position should probably have a 2-term limit to it, similar to what many states have for governor, similar to what we have for president, and not a knock on anybody, but after 8 years, like, I don't know how many more ideas I would have. So I'd love to be able to serve a term or two, bring energy, bring enthusiasm, bring ideas, help move Louisville forward, and then say, great, I'm now out of a job. I'm term limited out. And I think it's a good government best practice. So to answer your question, I would love to be able to serve a term or two and then work myself out of a job.
Okay.
So you've been on city council for a while. Can you tell us something that's happened in the last few years that you're really proud that you've accomplished?
Sure. I'll tie it back to, there's a lot of things. I think the city's been able to move forward just in terms of how we've able to been supportive of Umbrella Alley, to what downtown looks like, to the parks, how they are completely different now than they were before. When I came on council, I think our road paving budget was $120,000. For the last several years, we've been above $500,000. And so we've had a huge increase. And I think people see that and appreciate that the sidewalks look better, the roads look better, the parks look better. But I'll say the most important thing that we've done is, shortly after I came on council, I pushed council to be able to have an open house night where we were able to just get feedback and listen from the fire department. Because when I took my tour shortly after I was elected, Chief Bordner said that they were the redheaded stepchild of the city.
Hey.
And that's the chief's words.
Yeah,
that's the chief's words.
I know.
And so we had that open house, and we got feedback. And around that same time, we hired Larry Collins as our city manager. And so we started to get the ball rolling on what would a 21st century safety center or fire station look like. And first it was like, where do we put it? What should it include? And we know, like, Louisville is a fiscally conservative town. We do not need a Taj Mahal of government buildings or a new city hall or a new everything. The police station was most recently renovated. And so we took the feedback, we increased staffing. In my time there, no individual department has seen more of an increase in funding than the fire department. And it's deservedly so, because for years and years they lacked funding because it originated as volunteer. And we have slowly gotten our way to where we have a top tier professional fire department, and really what they more function as in terms of number of calls, EMS. And so we got the ball rolling on that. We were able to work with the school district to buy the old KSC property. And just last week opened up that beautiful new fire station. And it's well past due. It'll benefit citizens, because you are going to have a better equipped and better trained, just facility, and our firefighters are going to be able to train there. And if anybody has not seen it, I would really encourage them to stop down. The chief said he'd give them a tour. And honestly, it'll be better for them. It'll
We're
be
going to
better
be
for
doing
them.
a show down there, I think.
Yeah, we are.
It will bring us into the 21st century. We'll be able to have rooms where we separate out the equipment and don't expose them, while they're hanging out to those fumes, and just best practices. And so I'm really, really proud we were able to cast that vision, get the ball. It wasn't perfect because we got models, we got estimates that were really high during COVID. We had to wait, but the final end product, I could not be more happy with how it turned out. And not to mention to have a trailhead for the bike path on the back side of it, with public restrooms, with a bottle filling station, with public parking, because we always had that beautiful trail, and it was where's the trailhead? And I'm really proud that we were able to work together and get that accomplished.
That's a wonderful accomplishment. Wonderful.
That's great. Really nice.
Wow.
Well, we are running out of time.
Okay.
But we want to thank you for coming on. Is there anything else that you think the public should know about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think they know my heart. They know that I, care about Louisville, that, my family has put down roots here, from, buying an old house. I appreciate your help with that.
And did resurrect that from the dead.
And we take
it was
it down,
a beautiful house, but it just needed updated.
35 trees down later. We're chipping away at it. And we want to put down roots. We want our kids to be able to be proud of where they live and love Louisville just as much as Monica and I do. And you mentioned something they may not know. I don't like to sit still. I don't binge watch shows or waste time. But a few years ago, my buddy Adam Nichols and I started a cabinet company, and we actually grew it. Discount Custom Cabinets. We worked with Bob and Pete's. We put a storefront there.
Okay.
Grew it up to over $500,000 worth of sales. And then we sold it to our lead salesman, and so he's taken it. James Corkish, he's an awesome guy. Go check out if you need some Discount Custom Cabinets. They're on Whipple. And so people always ask, they say, are you going to quit your job? And my response, if you would win in November, and my response is, the mayor's position is a part-time position. I would no more quit my job than I would expect the president of the school board, to quit their job. Your job is to chair 2 meetings a month and be the ceremonial head of the city and really provide leadership to city council to be able to set policy and then have our professionally well-trained, well-paid city manager carry that out. And so although it's an important job, I believe I do have plenty of time. I've got the energy, I got the enthusiasm, I have ideas that I'm in the right position right now in my life to be able to serve as mayor, and I hope I'm able to come back on and talk about all the great things happening in Louisville in months to come.
We'll hit you up on that.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank
Arden.
you
Thanks,
so
Lisa.
much.
Thank you so much. Well, everybody, I hope everybody is enjoying this beautiful weather. And if you did not see my Facebook post this morning, we had a beautiful little calf, and her mother is named Lisa, after me, but she's a cow. I'm not a cow.
Yeah,
right?
we have L names, so
Yeah.
we've never had a Lisa, so I named one Lisa.
Yeah, she's a beautiful black cow. And anyway, the baby is named Lucy after our first cow.
Very first cow that she
on the
passed
farm.
away this year.
Yeah, so
we brought her namesake in.
Yes, we did. So if you get out our way and you want to stop in and see her, feel free to pull down the lane and take a look. Anyway, everybody have a great weekend and week, and we'll see you around town. Thanks for stopping by, Corey.
Go Leps.
Go
Okay.
Leopards. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.